Good
Hello.
morning.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Awesome.
Of course.
Let me get this little
It's
microphone in the right spot. Does it sound good? The microphone? You
a little
good?
it's a little fuzzy.
Why is it fuzzy? It shouldn't be. It should be really clear. Hold on. How about now? Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay. Cool. As long as you can hear me okay, I could probably get this up a little higher. Yeah. Anyway, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Where are you? What's your
I'm
where
in North Carolina.
okay.
Yeah, I'm in North Carolina. I'm about 25 minutes from Charlotte. Um, and I travel back and forth from West Coast to East Coast like every 4 to 6 weeks. And then
Oh
I'm
my,
there for like 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. So
what causes you to split time like that?
kids, grandkids, dad. I came here for work to be closer to my mentor that I worked with. And then now I no longer work with him. And so I sold my house in California and came here. Just my kids are grown and they were having their own lives. And I'm like, I'm just going to go out there, and hang out and like kind of redesign how I want to create my life. And I did that from here. And now I just go back and forth because, I get a lot of work done here. I do a lot of podcasts and then I'm in mortgage also. So I've been in mortgage for
Okay.
20 years. So I have a mortgage business as well. And so, yeah, and so this is where I do a lot of my Zoom calls, a lot of my coaching. And, my daughters work for me. So one's the processor that runs the office, and one's an executive assistant. So, yeah, I kind of like designed it where I could really just kind of work 4 to 5 hours a day and then do whatever I want for the
It's
rest of the time.
so great.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
been
that.
amazing. It's been
I actually
amazing.
went to I'd never been to North Carolina before, and
Oh,
I've been like 3 or 4 times now in the past couple of years.
yeah, it's a
We
hub
love it.
for, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Love
Where do you stay when you come?
so the first time we ever went to North Carolina was to Charleston.
Okay.
Loved it, loved it, loved it. And then I have been to Charlotte now twice. And then one other place more on the coast.
Like
Um,
Hilton Head area or
no.
Savannah?
Yeah, been to, yes, we did go to Savannah,
Yeah.
which was like dreamy. We had our
I
bikes and
love
we rode
Savannah.
our bikes all around
Yeah.
there. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah.
So good. Anyways, okay, well, I'm in Texas. Um,
Oh, okay.
yes, I live actually at ground zero for the floods. If you've heard about the Texas floods,
Yes.
my mom and 9 others survived on the roof and
Oh, yes. I saw the whole
lost her
thing.
home. Yes, you may have,
Crazy. I was going to ask you about that. It was like, that's crazy. All of them. Like,
yes,
so inspiring after
it,
so much tragedy to like
yeah,
see the story unfold. So I'm so
it's
thankful for you guys.
it's super cool. We're starting to thrive again, for sure
Good.
after that. But let's go through this. Karen Bartholomew. Yes, I'm saying that correctly.
Yes, you
Okay.
are.
Okay. I always have to ask, like, sometimes even the simplest words, I'm like, I think that's what it says, but if it's not, and somebody's had to
No,
stop,
it's right. You're
I always
right.
ask.
You're
Um,
totally right.
do you have like a stopping point that you have to be done by?
No, just 2:30. My
Okay.
daughter is actually at her first ultrasound appointment. She's pregnant.
Mhm.
So, no, I'm gonna call, told her I would call her at 2:30. So as
Okay.
long as we're good at 2:30 to stop.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I usually it's no more than an hour, but
Okay.
I like to
Yeah.
ask just in
Yep.
case. Like,
Yep.
so it's
Nope.
like I got to be in and out of here in 45 minutes, and I'm like, let's go.
Oh,
Uh,
no, no, no. I'm good until 2:30. And
okay,
if it
good.
ends early, then that's fine too.
Okay, awesome. What else? Oh, just to tell you, I do have a dog in here. She's the only one in my house that can climb out of the fence. And so if for some reason she starts to bark, we will just figure out how to edit it and start and stop it.
I I just took mine and put her in the sunroom. So,
Yes. Well, I can do that, except for she will make
yeah.
more noise there than she will here. So
It's
just
totally
letting you
fine.
know. Just
Totally
letting you
fine.
know.
Totally
Yes.
fine.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
She can literally scale the fence and jump out. It's quite impressive, actually.
Wow. What kind of dog?
Um, we call her, she's a fancy Walnut, which means we basically found her free in the Walmart parking lot.
Oh, that's funny.
No clue. She's like terrier, chihuahua, something, little dog.
Oh God. Okay. Okay.
Anyways, she's usually fine, but you just never know.
It's
And once
totally fine.
yeah,
I
all
love
good.
it. Love, love, love. I'm a dog
Awesome.
person, so we're good.
Okay. Well, and I can edit, but we typically don't. Like I usually
No.
just let it roll. But that
Yeah.
being said, like if there's anything that you say that you lay in bed
No.
to okay,
No.
I wasn't
No.
ready to
Let's
say
just
that or
go
whatever.
with it.
Okay, that's good. I
I
just like it to be
trust your process implicitly, so it's all good.
awesome. That also being said, I typically don't use the visual part of this. I'll sometimes I'll pull out like a clip or something, but usually I just overlay a picture on it,
Okay.
um, just to keep it simple. So that being
Yep.
said, if you need to pick your nose or drink your drink or whatever,
Oh
look
no,
down
I'm
the
fine.
notes. Like, don't worry about any of that kind of stuff.
Ah, that's funny. Yeah,
This
no, we're
is
good.
super,
Yeah.
super
And
casual.
I'll put it on my website when it goes live.
Awesome. Awesome.
So
Yay.
just let me know when it happens.
Oh my goodness. Okay, awesome. So we're just going to pretend like this is live. I'm sure you've done a
Yeah.
million of these, and
Yep.
we'll roll through. And do you have any questions for me before we get
I
started?
don't. I looked through your stuff, and so I'm totally prepared, which is exactly
Oh,
what I would talk about anyway. So it worked out
I think
fine. So I'm just going to go with your lead and just ask me questions, and I will just answer.
well, good. Like a good podcast guest should. Okay,
Yes.
Holly, do you want to go out there? Okay, she's like, she literally just got down. I'm like, I don't know, maybe you'll be fine out there. All right. Okay.
If
Okay.
she's not, you can
Oh,
make a joke, and I'll just, yeah,
do
keep
you
it.
hear her barking? Like I knew I was like,
No,
it's
no, I
coming.
can't hear
Just got
anything.
up. Okay, good.
Oh, now I hear. Yeah,
Right. It is what it is. Yeah, what do you do?
whatever.
Um, okay. Awesome. All right. Well, let's roll then. Now to the glasses. I'm this many years old because I can't read
I
any.
know. Well, yeah, no, you're big in my screen, so yeah,
Yeah.
I can see you just fine.
Good.
But I do
I
have glasses just in case they get like,
yeah. Something happened this week and I swear like my far out vision was always really good and all of a sudden like it's bothering me. Like so normally I could see my notes here in front of me but all of a sudden I'm like
oh wow. Yeah, because my eyes got really bad right at 40.
so I'm 51.
Okay, I'm
It,
63, so
yeah. Yeah, it's I feel like it happened at 40 like 40 45 and then something is going on now. I
yeah,
don't know.
no, it's totally fine. I can wear my
Anyway.
glasses if you'll be more comfortable.
No, 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 no. I was just laughing. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let me take one more sip.
I might put them on at some point though, so just so you
You're
know,
welcome.
just because if my eyes start hurting, I try not to wear them, but
Yeah.
don't know
All,
if we can do that.
all good. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Well Tended Life, where we believe that sometimes the most powerful growth doesn't come from doing more, but from learning to pause, to listen, and to let life catch up with us. I'm your host, Carrie Wilt, a life coach, garden lover, and speaker, and I help women unlock the life they put on hold while they were tending to everyone and everything else. Today's episode is inspired by a quiet and beautiful moment from my great great grandmother's famous book, The Secret Garden. And it says this: more than once, Dickon paused in what he said he was doing and stood still with sort of growing wonder in his eyes, shaking his head softly. Y'all, that pause, that sacred space between doing and being is where the magic often lives. It's where clarity blooms, healing begins, and we find our way back to ourselves. And today's guest, Karen Bartholomew, ugh, I knew I was totally going to butcher it, right?
It's okay.
Karen, it's a lot
I'll
of
just say it's Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. Karen Bartholomew has built her life and her work around helping women rediscover that very power of the pause. She's the founder of the pause method, a transformative approach that teaches us how to slow down long enough to perceive, acknowledge, unwind, shift, and embody the truth of who we were always meant to be. In this conversation, we're going to explore why slowing down is one of the bravest things we can do and how to move through her 5 step method and what happens when we finally give ourselves permission to pause. And in doing so, opening up space for something sacred to grow. So, if you've been running on empty, living in overdrive, or just craving a deep exhale, friend, this episode is your invitation to stop rushing and start tending. So let's dig in. Welcome, Karen Bartholomew. See, I can say it
You got
now.
it. You got it. Yes.
That was
Thank you
it,
so
all of a sudden,
much.
I was like, it's a ton of letters. My tongue did not want to make them happen.
I know. Well, I'm so happy to be here and share this message. It's just, yeah, it just literally like transforms people's minds and souls. And I'm really excited.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am so excited because, one of the things that I believe is that to live a well tended life, really, it's simple, right? It's the simple things. We all think that we have to do all of this big stuff in order to
Yeah.
make things happen. And it's really the simple things like a pause, right? Like choosing to water what matters, et cetera. And so I'm so excited about this conversation today. But before we kind of get into that, like, give us a little bit about who you are and, kind of what led you into this.
Yeah. So I love what you talked about your mom, the secret garden. So I just wanted to touch on that first. Like, I always say, have you ever looked around and realized you're the last one on your own list? You're right. And when you
Yeah.
said, we're women who have been watering everyone else's garden for so long, while our own roots are like running really dry. So I just wanted to make that analogy to like your mom's secret garden, right? Because I have seriously been there, like for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Um, uh, back when I was a young girl of five kids. I was the second in line, and I had two boys, two brothers. The one was 15 months older, and one was 18 months younger. And my mom and I talk about it all the time now. How she really favored the boys, and she was an only child, and so just bless her heart. I'm not, didn't know any different. However, what happened was I felt really invisible back then. And I remember when my mom announced that she was having a fifth kid, and I was 12, and I ran to the bathroom and locked myself in the bathroom because my message in my head, which obviously was my own imagination, was that there's not enough love for me now. So, what about another child? Now there's really going to be no love. So, I went out into the adult world feeling really unloved. And the compensation for that was, obviously picking the wrong people, ending up with the wrong men, like being a people pleaser and all those good things. And I think I just got to a point in my life as a single mom of 3 kids that I was just, I don't know what was wrong, but I was like not happy. Loved my kids dearly, loved being a mom. But I just remember sitting in my car one day, dropping off my kids to school and like really like pulling the car over, just holding back my tears. I couldn't remember what made me really happy outside of being a mom anymore.
Mm.
And that day gave me permission to really take a pause, and it changed the complete trajectory of my life. Someone asked me right after that to take a class, a very dear friend of mine who passed away since, but he changed my life by asking me that question because I was really sick of me. Just picking the emotional men, basically, in the people pleasing, like I said, and never really saying no to anyone, saying yes to everybody but myself. And I was completely exhausted. What I realized is the constraint that I was living with, like I talked about, is, I wasn't loved or I didn't matter, right? Um, of course, if I go back in my history, I can pull out all kinds of evidence why I came up with that story, but like it's not true today. So I really had to like deal with like what was that constraint and can I leave that story behind, right? Because it was truth then, but it's not truth today. Because I do make a difference and I am valuable and I am making a difference and I matter in this world because of the work that I do. Hence why I do the work I do, right? Compensating,
Mhm.
but in a good way. And then I know that I'm truly loved. And Before that, I was just a woman doing all the things, raising the kids, building a career in mortgage. I've been in mortgage for 20 years, and I was just managing everybody's needs but my own. So my life looked super successful. I felt completely depleted, running so fast that I couldn't even hear my own self think. And that's really where that journey began. I gave myself permission to pause and then went through that journey such that now I can actually help other women do the same.
Oh my gosh. It's so crazy because your story is so similar to mine. But I also think as I started to recognize my story as well, I realized that this is the story of so many of us.
Yeah.
Whether we walk through it all the exact same or not is, to be determined, but we all have this moment where we have poured into everybody else but ourselves. We feel empty. We don't know how to fill our cup again. And something happens that makes us go like, I'm done. I
Yeah.
don't want to live this way anymore. Was there an actual moment for you? Like, what was was there a catalyst?
Um, I think just seeing that what was possible and just knowing that I was limiting my own self,
Mhm.
that I went through these classes for a whole 4 months. I took a pause for 4 months and literally like took myself on. I'm like, I'm just going to take myself on for 4 months. I'm going to figure this thing out. And I went on that journey, and I think what I realized, it was my own mind, not my brain, but my mind, that because our mind is designed to protect us. And so all the stories I had in my head, basically, protect, 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 don't take a risk, right? Just be comfortable. I really had to get extremely uncomfortable. And I hired a coach and challenged me like crazy. I remember he asked me to do something once, and I pulled over on the side of the road on my drive there crying. I'm like, I can't do this. He goes, I'm going to stay in the phone with you, and I'm going to have you keep driving till you get there. And interesting enough, I've never said any of this on live before, but he challenged me to go to a nudist camp.
Oh,
Interesting enough, I saw him not long ago at the man that introduced me to this work at his funeral because he passed away. And I saw him, I said, that was the best thing you ever did for me, because what I did was, the reason for him doing that was I was literally going back to the nakedness of myself, to just strip away all the stuff and to feel so exposed that I'm like, wow, right? Yeah, just kind of being with myself and being there. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. I totally get it now. Just keep exposing yourself. Just keep getting there to where you can truly know who you are at this moment, and then redesign whatever you want, because the only thing that's holding you back is your own mind. And I wouldn't call it limiting beliefs. A lot of people use that word, but we're only limited as much as how we view the world today at this moment. So if I change the lens and I change my stories, were just made up of words, and I'm going to see everything very differently. And so that's the journey I went on, was to know that my words were the stories that I imagined. And really, if I don't know what's going to happen an hour from now in my future, then what am I really fearful of? Except the stories I bring forward that I put in my imagination that say I'm not going to be okay, whatever happens.
yeah. And we get to choose the story that we tell ourselves,
Yes.
right? So many times we feel like these thoughts aren't our choice, and we get to choose whether we make up a good outcome or a hard outcome, right?
Yeah, so I say, when I start helping women design the next chapter of their life, and this isn't about like, not being a mom or a good wife or any of those things. It's not about that. It's literally tapping into your femininity and letting go of some of the masculine habits we've taken up, and maybe
Mm.
asking for a little help with those things. And really start aligning yourself about, well, what am I going to do next month to get myself closer to who I'm truly are at the heart and soul of who I am? And are these things being asked of me in alignment to get me there? Is it really going to help my family, myself, and my future? And if the answer is no, then I'm not going to pick that up. And if it's a message
Mm.
from my past, then I'm like, I can leave it there. I remember a time when, I couldn't get past like the 250 mark, right, per year, in mortgage. And someone asked me, like, well, I don't understand why you don't make more money. Because, in mortgage, you decide what you want to make and you go after it. And when someone really asked me the right question, I realized that I was holding myself back because I didn't want to make more money than what my dad made when he retired. And he was a big wig in a big city. And at the time, and it was a long time ago, 1993, and at that time, that was a lot of money. It's probably three times as much as that in today's world. But I'm like, I don't need to make more than that for me and my three kids. I'm good with that amount of money, right? But when someone asks me, if you just dream a little bit, I know you're okay with that amount of money, but what could you do if you made, just say, double that? And so I started dreaming a little bit that I could help my kids get in a house someday. I could get my mom out of that housing that she was in. I could take my kids on family vacations I started dreaming I could like give more money to the charities that I want. And I'm like, now it opened up a new world for me, although I was fine with this amount of money. And then all of a sudden the money just came because I allowed myself to dream again, which typically when we're small children, at some point, we're told to be responsible, stop dreaming, be responsible, go out and get a good job, da 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 da. And I'm like, no, we can still dream. We can still take time out to dream and go after the things that we loved in our, younger life and bring those things forward. The things that really, really lit us up. Like if you were into dance and then someone told me you were a terrible dancer, well, like, you're going to stop dancing. But if I challenge you to go, if you really love dancing, let's get into a dance class, right?
Right.
So it's more about challenging people to see the other side of what's possible and like helping them do that. Like my coach helped me along the way as I was driving, right? It's about having somebody in your corner that really believes in you a little bit more than you believe in yourself to get
Mm.
you where you say you want to be.
Yeah, I think everybody should hire a life coach. It was one of the most
Yep.
it was the most one of the most impactful thing that I've ever done for myself, and I know my coaching clients say the same thing. It's just having a cheerleader by your side, pushing you outside of your box, and seeing those places where little tweaks can make really big changes. You said something earlier that I want to go back to. You said something about masculine habits that women fall into. Can you say a little bit about that? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So basically, in this day and age, we see it all the time where the woman takes on the whole home, and then all of a sudden the man's out working all the time, and you're taking on more, and you're taking on more, and you're taking on more. And you've seen pictures of, and I'm not like stereotyping, I'm just saying you've seen pictures of the men on their phone and the women with the two kids in the bags and the wagon, da 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 da, and nobody's helping or nobody's opening the door for us anymore, right? That kind of
Right.
stuff. And I'm like, you know what? It's because we've just taken over those things that really we we didn't need to. And so I'm like, let the man open the door for you.
Mm,
Let the man cherish you. Let the man carry the groceries in. Instead of you just like, no, I got
mm.
it. Like
Yeah.
tap into that nurturing, caring piece, right, of yourself where you can really truly hold on to that and do some of the things that you need, but share in those responsibilities, right?
Yes.
And if you have the money, then hire someone to do that if you're single like myself, right? I've been single for like too long. However, that's changing a little bit, I think. I hope. We'll see. Someday I will share that story with everybody. But yeah, so, just kind of like just allowing men to be the man that, we were brought into this world to be.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wrote down as you said that I wrote we've taught them that we don't need them.
Yes.
And it's interesting because I've recently had this same realization that I've also taught my friends that I'm good, that I don't need them to check on me, that she is strong, she is capable. And at a time where most of my listeners know that we have just come through this Fourth of July flood here in Texas, and it's been a big major situation in my family and my area. And I I was shocked. I was like, how come my closest friends are barely checking on me? And I had a counselor go, that's because you've taught them that
Yeah.
you've got this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I was like, oh, okay.
But at your
So,
darkest point of your most grief, when you really need someone, we're not saying that. We're not saying,
right. That's what
like,
I
if I
realized. I
give
was
you
like,
the 911 text, I need you. You're not doing that.
right. No, I
And
was just expecting them to come. And but I didn't realize that I was the one. And I think that's what I want people to hear but in this
yeah.
conversation is that I taught them how to treat me, right? And
Yep.
we teach our husbands, we teach our partners, we teach our friends, how to respond to us. And so, if we have taught them that we are strong and capable and all of those things, but yet we're folding inside, we have to be the ones that go out and say, "Hey, I am no longer strong and capable. I need help."
Right.
Because they're not going to know to, because they're making the assumption based off of your history.
Yeah, and what I can say on that is, slowing down is really courageous. We're afraid to slow down
Mm,
because when we do, we lose a little control of the image we've been managing at this point in time. We have to really face ourselves, our grief, our fears, our unmet needs, all these things, right? But we're not doing that because we want to be strong women, right? But that's where the true transformation can happen, right? To slow down is courageous because it means you're choosing truth over your performance or the image that you want to put out there that you're strong and okay, right? It's saying, I matter enough to breathe and to actually reach out.
I love that. I feel like somebody just had like this aha moment hearing that, because that's huge. Yeah, because even as I was even thinking about, you talking about investing in yourself for 4 months, right? Like just going all in, and I was like, that's so bold. Like, and I hope somebody hears what she did and hears that the transformation that came out of that, was worth the bold, scary step, right?
Yeah, because I wouldn't be here today sitting here with you, the opportunity that came across, had I not done that.
Mm.
I would
Yeah.
not. And so there's just so much opportunity out there. I'm right now in a new season of peace and expansion again. I'm always like learning and like, building things that align with me, who I truly, truly am at my core. Um, I've had tons of seasons of survivals, constant motion, proving, striving, building.
Mm.
Um, it's different though. This is really rooted in the true essence of who I am and understanding, who am I? What is my beingness? Right? This knowing your season gives you a bunch of grace. And I think that's
Yes.
what I gave myself was a lot of grace. It released the comparison thing I was doing and it moved me into a pace of my purpose.
Yeah, I always say one of the best things you can do to live your best, well tended life is to know your season, because it also, knowing where you are, and the reality of it helps you to say yes to the right things, say no to the right
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
Like and
Yeah.
most of us are just like oblivious to that fact, but you can't find that out unless you slow down, pause, do exactly what you are teaching women how to do. So, like, where did the pause come from? Like where was that in your aha, moment of like, oh my gosh, these 5 letters are
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So I got to the point where one of my daily practices, and still is every day, is before I look at my phone and before I do anything, I literally ask myself, what do I need today? And
Mm,
it may only be in the next 2 hours, right? Because most women just go, 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 go. They're like 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. There's no time for them. And I'm watching some of my family members do this right now. It's like, at the end of the day, they got kids like, working from home. Kids, are on you all the time. And the last thing you want to do is have your husband want to like cuddle you. And they're like, nah, I don't want to be touched, right? I'm like, hold the fort. It's like, what do you need every couple hours so you can actually take care of yourself and still have an amazing relationship with your husband and with your children and get your work done? And so, it's, which basically sometimes I need courage, sometimes I need stillness, sometimes I just need joy, and then I got to figure out what that looks like. And so I think the pausing wasn't stopping for me. It was just choosing to be still long enough to hear my truth, right?
Mm.
And so I remember the first pause I ever took, ever before I even knew what I was doing, was walking to the mailbox. Just taking a moment to just leave everything and walk down the hill to the mailbox just to have a moment to myself. And I'm like, wow. And just kind of hear myself think. And so that was my first pause. And then I'm like, okay, so what do I want today to look like? Like really, like what are the things that are really important to me? And so that's kind of how it started. It was what I realized I was doing because then I got into all the constraints, that were holding me back, like I'm not loved or I don't matter. And I'm like, okay, what is that? Right. And then like, moving along and going, understanding, unraveling and understanding, you know, what am I unraveling and like, what do I think about that? And then what are the words and can I shift? I mean, so it was just this whole back and forth. It took a long time. And what I did was I took big sheets of paper all over my dining room table and I just started writing stuff out. I did a timeline of my life basically. And I said, every 7 years, something tragically happens in my life. So I get it and then I lose it and I get it and I lose it, right? And so I wanted something that really stuck. So I looked at my entire life and I'm like, okay, now that I see it on paper and I can identify what's going on, let me put a system together that I can really teach about what I've been doing to unravel all that. And so, the pause definitely has 5 steps. I'm actually doing a webinar in November to walk people through this. But the first P is basically pattern recognition, identifying the subconscious belief and the default reaction that we have that's shaping your current situation. So the question you're going to ask is, what story am I telling myself right now? Is it rooted in truth today or in past conditioning we've brought forward that we just keep like revisiting? Like, oh my God, I did it again. How do I keep doing this again? Because we don't know. It's so buried, it's autopilot that you really
Mm.
don't know. So awareness is the first step to freedom, to like really be aware. Because once you pull something by someone asking the right questions out of your subconscious, you can't throw it back in there. It's here,
Nope.
right? So now
You
that you
bring it out
know,
the light. Bring it out the
you're
light.
like, oh shoot, I did it again, but I know what I did. So then people, I have people that do those alternatives. It's okay. You're practicing. It's okay, right? Just like don't stop, right? So that's what the P. It's permission to give yourself that space and that safe space with a woman, with a group of women, whatever it is. I give women a safe container to really look into that and
Mm.
cry, whatever it's going to be, to say, where is this coming from? Right? And then really the next part is acknowledging with acceptance. Acceptance is not resignation. It's the key to shifting your perspective, right? So, it's because what's real is we're exhausted. We're in fear and we're in resentment, right? And so, like,
Mhm.
see where you're at and without any judgment or opinion, just like acknowledge, right? Like, just acknowledge it, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't safe. I had trauma when I was younger, right? I felt like I lived in danger all the time, and I'm still living in that world. Although it's not true today because you
Mhm.
live in a safe home, you have a safe marriage, you're not being, you know what I mean? So that's
Yes.
why I'm saying if you go back, you can go, okay, but if you unravel that, it's like we don't really need to live there anymore. We can acknowledge it, but we need to not keep pulling it forward because it's not truth today.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where we untangle stuff, right? The untangling, right? Which is unwinding it, untangling it, understanding it. What's fact, what's fiction, what's truth, what's not. What is a belief? I mean, what if this belief I have, ask the question, isn't true?
Mm.
You know? And what is the situation trying to teach me? So when you get triggered, we have a reaction, right? But when you get triggered and you can stop and say, why am I getting triggered? Let me go back. Why am I getting triggered? What's the pattern? Let me like, be aware of it. Let me untangle this a little bit. Where's it coming from? What's that belief I have about myself? Now we can go, okay, I don't need to get triggered anymore. I can just change a few things with a little bit of help. And that's where real power comes in. Because now we're like, I get it, but now what do I do? So
Mm.
then the next thing is really to reframe your old belief, right, to an empowering truth. Okay, it's already, you know, the question you would ask yourself, if I'm already free from this thing that happened, I am not living it in anymore, and I know I'm going to be okay no matter what happens, right? And I'm already whole and I'm already worthy. How would I show up every day, every morning when I get out of bed? If you knew you were
Mm.
safe and you knew that you mattered and you knew you were loved, like then how would you show up in the world for yourself and for others? That's where we get to rewrite this narrative and pivot into new possibilities. Because in uncertainty, which everything's uncertain from the time we get off this podcast, right? Like there's so many possibilities. And
Yeah,
so
even in the middle of this podcast.
in the middle of this podcast. And so what I say, fear really comes from our past, bringing it forward, thinking we're not going to be okay because you're pulling some experience forward, right? But if we really don't know what's going to happen in the future, like what do we really have to be fearful of?
Mm-hmm.
Really, you can be present, right? And enjoy life. And when life is over, life is over. We don't know when that's going to happen. But we don't need to worry about that, right? We don't need, it's going to be okay because every horrible thing that's happened to us, and let me tell you, I don't condone, horrible things have happened to me in my life too. But I look back at it and I'm like, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to put myself in a position like that I didn't even know I was putting myself in as a small child. I'm not going to be there anymore because that's not who I am. Right? And then we just got to practice it. We just got to practice living the pause daily.
Yeah.
Rest, have some boundaries, gratitude, reflection, and just embody this new belief by taking aligned action. Remember, I said if you want something, ask the question, is this in alignment with how I'm designing my life for the next chapter? Right? And if you get stuck, like we will, because that little voice comes like, wait a minute, I know where that's coming from. Is that really going to help me, my family, my kids, my future? Not
Mm.
really. I'm going to say no to that. And then I'm going to go on with my day.
I love that. I feel like that is like everybody should open up their phone right now and put that in their notes, right? Like to refer back to anytime. Like what tell say it again. Is this helpful for my
I
your
don't know what I
family?
said. Oh, is this thing that's come to me? Is this in alignment with where I want my life? And is it going to help myself, my family, my future, where we're going?
Yes. Yeah, if we would all make decisions based off of what we said yes to or no to through that,
Yeah.
we would say less yeses to things that aren't our responsibility, right? Things that aren't ours to take.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say, peace isn't something we're chasing. It's something we're choosing. So
Mm.
everybody has something going on. They're like, well, if I could just do this, or if I could just have this, and they're all looking out there for when the time comes. Well, I have to, blah, blah, blah. No, you are where you are because you are where you are, right? Things happen the way they did because they happened, right? Whatever happened yesterday happened, you can't change it. It just literally happened. But like, we definitely can choose our future. We definitely, and all that stuff you're looking at externally is inside of you. And if you don't feel it, then that's something to work on. Like, why?
Mm.
What is going on inside of me, sense that I still don't feel like I matter? Instead of compensating by going out there trying to prove to people that you matter, that's exhausting. When I was a people pleaser and I was trying to find love and I was doing all these things, I was exhausted. That's an exhausting way for me to live. Well, now I have such peace. And because I've changed that perspective in my life and transformed into who my true essence is, everyone around me, I don't even have to be in a room with them. Their world's changing because mine has changed.
Mm.
I have people in my life, even my family, some family members that would love for me to stay who I was because it's comfortable for them. Now they're like, oh my God, what is she doing? Like, that's not comfortable for us. So like, I don't usually tell them too much I'm doing or anything ahead of time until I have make it happen because I'm like, I don't need that energy, that vibration, that frequency when I'm like on my way to do something big, right? Yeah, so I'm very careful about who I bring into my world. And family obviously is family, but I'm very careful how much time I spend with them. The other thing I say to women that I coach is give yourself permission every day for what you will and won't bring into your life. I give myself permission to spend limited time and permission to leave rooms that I no longer
Mm,
need to be in,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I teach women how to look at their life as a garden, and one of those things is, you should have a door to your garden, right? Like that's where you
Yeah.
set boundaries and all those things, and really understanding, what do you have? What is your door open to, right? And what does it need to be closed through, right? It's that same permission, like who gets to come into my life? Who gets to,
Yeah.
you know, share in the fruits of my labor? Who gets to do that? And who do I need to close that door to? And it be more like a screen door, like I can see you on the other side, but you don't get to come in here with that negative energy or any of those kind of things, right?
Yeah, I worked for somebody who I thought was going to be a great journey for me and ended up not. And it kind of broke my soul a little bit. And it was about 3 years ago. And I got so stuck, because it still happens to me. I got so stuck that I literally didn't know which way to move. There was a lot of relationships involved in this one person, and didn't know how to keep that relationship, but not. Blah, blah, blah. I was so many like departments. I was really, really stuck. And I just got to the point where I quit. I took off to the mountains for a week with no cell phone. Nobody could get me. And I literally redesigned what I wanted to do. Hence is why I have the speaking that I'm doing now and the coaching, right? Because I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I've been doing personal development and sales coaching for 15 years. And I just decided that I'm just going to do it for myself. And I redesigned it that week and I just went for it. And my kids were the ones that said, Mom, why do you keep doing things for everybody else? Just do it for yourself, right? So it's so interesting how your kids usually are the truth tellers because they see everything. um, and that's what I did. And eventually, I literally told some of these people, I'm like, you're going to have to decide what friendship means to you. It's to me, it's not who I work for or who works for me, but you're going to have to make the decision. So, I held on and I did what I always did, with these, and then eventually I just let them go. I'm like, I'm just going to let that go because there's something really big on the other side of that. I don't know what it is, but I'm great faith. And I did, and it was the best thing I've done. Now, are there moments here in North Carolina that I'm like, what if I run into them? I'm going to be socially respectful as I always am. Um, I think I saw someone in a store once and I went in the other aisle because I was like, I just didn't want to, it wasn't in the space. But I don't need to pick those friendships up again because I'm moving in a different vibration. They were there at a time and a season for me for what I needed at that time for where I
Mhm.
wasn't healed. And so one of my mentors says people and circumstances will present themselves to where you're not healed. And you don't know it at the time, but looking back, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I wasn't healed from emotional trauma. I picked men that weren't emotionally available. I wasn't healed, from like just trusting myself. So I picked people I thought I could trust. Of course, then I couldn't trust them. It just like was that when I look back on it, it's so easily to see how my life played out the way it did. Even to the point where I was abused as a small child because I wanted love so much, right? And a family member actually abused me, and not immediate family member, by the way, a very distant family member, because I wanted love so much as a small child, and that person took advantage of that. And I can not no fault of mine, but I could see how that played out now.
Mm,
Wrong room,
yeah.
right? Didn't know any different, but it taught me something,
Mm,
right? So, yeah. So life is I love learning. I love unraveling. I love helping women like get to the other side. You know, I had a woman recently say to me, "Oh, everything's great. Everything's wonderful." When I hear that, I'm always like, "Mm-hmm. What's one area that you're struggling with right now?" And it was being an empty nester and then having mom-in-law move back in. Now I'm not an empty nester anymore. Yeah, right?
I'm
I'm
going
like,
through the exact same thing right now.
oh, this is funny.
Yeah.
So she says to me, I'm like, okay, well, tell me a little bit more, right? It was a mastermind I was doing with some women. Tell me a little bit more. Because, you know, co learning happens. Whatever's going on with the one person we're talking to, somebody else can relate to it, right? So I said to him, tell me a little bit about that. She goes, well, we're empty nester now. Everybody's gone. And I thought, you know, we'd have this great life and we'd be able to travel and we'd be able to do all these things. And I'm like, now I have, you know, the mother in law at home and I'm just feeling like and I'm like, well, tell me about your mother-in-law. So mother-in-law is mobile, has a great life, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, so tell me what are you doing or what are you not doing? Well, they're going on date nights. They are taking short trips. I'm like, but you have someone to watch the dog now. And based on what you're telling me about your mother-in-law, she's going to meet people in the neighborhood and she's not going to want to be hanging out with you guys. She's going to want to move into a neighborhood or a community with people her own age so she can have more fun. She's like, I never thought of it that way. I'm like, yeah. So 10 years just turned into maybe 6 months. You know, so I'm like, you don't know. But somehow in her mind, she thought her mother in law was going to be there for 10 years because somebody else had that experience and she just decided, or somewhere in her history, family history, that that was her responsibility to hang on to her mother in law for the next 10 years. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
right? And they are doing all the things that she was discounting as empty nesters.
Yeah.
She's doing date night. She's doing all these things, you know, like, so it was just, she goes, wow, I never thought about that. Like, you turn this thing into this positive, you know, I'm like, it was just a different perspective that you have a different set of lens on. So all I'm helping you is like, let's just take off those rose colored glasses for a moment and see something different that's possible
Mm,
because it's going to be okay.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
our imagination is so strong. How many times, any woman on listening to this, have you imagined an outcome and it's actually been that outcome? Never for me.
No.
It's
Yeah.
never as bad as we think, right?
No. And the time that we also spend imagining what that outcome's going to be, I try to remind myself if I start to go down that path, it's like, wait a minute, like I'm wasting my time thinking about a ghost, right? That probably will never come to fruition. So,
Yeah.
but we think that that's being helpful, and it's just it's not helpful. Oh my goodness, this has been so good. Um, like personally,
Mm-hmm.
how does the power of pause, like what does that look like in your own life today? Like how, tell me how you use that.
Well, I pause every morning. I used to get up at 6 a.m. and now my day doesn't really start till 8. And so, and I'm in different phase than probably, women are in different phases. So I'm just talking about my phase right now that I'm in. So I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee, I get my dog out, I play with my dog for a while. I will read 10 pages of any book that I'm reading at the moment. Um, and then, I have my coffee and I have whatever I have to eat. And then I'm in my office at 10 a.m. Now, most of my clients are in West Coast. So 10 a.m. is 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 10 a.m. I'm usually in my office and I'm here till about 4. And then the rest of the time, I'm done. I've created a space where I really can work from 10 to 4 every day. And I can take Fridays and Mondays off if I want to. I never get tripped up like on Mondays. Usually Mondays and Tuesdays are heavy coaching days for me. I coach like all day, both days. But if I am traveling or if I've decided that I want to go somewhere for a long weekend, I have no problem moving my clients to the next day. They're always asking me to move. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be traveling. Can we just
Yeah.
move it out, a couple days? And so, I'm living my life. I'm definitely taking pauses along the way to really think about what I'm doing. I help a lot of women that are in corporations right now at high level jobs. And it's like, if you could just take 10 minutes to just stop even if you're hiding under your desk for just a pause, like what do I need for the next 2 hours to get through the next 2 hours? Um, it's just really beneficial to like just check in with yourself. I remember I was dehydrated for 10 years and I didn't know it because it was normal for me to feel that way. But when I finally started drinking water every day, I tried to do a water bottle, it didn't work. And I tried different things. And I finally got a thing with a straw, and I'm like, that's the ticket. Drinking with a straw.
Me
I have
too.
one on my desk right now. If you give me a water bottle, it'll sit there all day. And so when I started drinking water, I realized, like, wow, this is a new world. It's kind of like taking off the old lens and putting a new lens on. And I'm like, wow, this is great. So now when I get dehydrated, it's instant. I'm like, I'm dehydrated. I got to go get some water because it's not my normal anymore to be dehydrated. Right.
Mhm.
But I had to take the time to figure out what I needed to keep myself going. And I think what happens is we're so busy as women, we never stop long enough to go, what do I need right now? Just for the next hour, just for the next 2 hours. Do I need to tell my family that I'm just going to take a 10-minute walk by myself around the block? Because you need that every day at 5:30. And let your husband be with the kids, right? Or whatever it is that you need. So I think I just would encourage women to like, you don't have to earn the rest. You don't need a crisis to deserve a pause. Just give yourself permission to stop performing for a moment. Start listening to yourself because that's really where the power gets to come back to you. We were
Mhm.
all born with this. What happens is at some point in time, because the message is don't do this, don't do this, don't, you'll get hurt, blah, 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 blah. And we have all this programming from everybody else, right? And so what happens is, we're born to these precious, precious babies, and somewhere along the line, we decided we weren't precious anymore. And I'm like, well, we need to get back to knowing we're precious human beings. And we have the power to create whatever life we want.
Mm, I love that. Okay, so say it again. The PAUSE. What do they all stand for?
Okay,
P
so
is
it's also
for
on my website, just so
okay.
you know, at KarenBartholomew.com. But it's P is for permission to identify your pattern recognition, basically.
Okay. A is for
Acknowledging and accepting it without any judgment or opinion.
all right.
It just is
U.
what it is. The U is to unwind, untangle, and understand it,
Awesome. And then S.
is to shift and reframe the words that turn into stories.
Awesome. And then E.
It's just to embody and embrace the new belief and just practice it daily.
I love it. I love every single word in that, and I think you've really created a cool framework that I feel like can help women in any season of their life. Like you said before, like every 7 years, chaos happens, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
all are gonna we're all gonna go through storms. We're all gonna have periods of rest. We're all gonna have a period of everything. And so I love this method of reflection and all the things. So super cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. Is there anything else that you feel like you
No,
want
but they,
to share
but
that
you
we
can
not?
go, but you can go to my website at KarenBartholomew.com. There's some free stuff on there. There's a free journal for 30 days to really reflect on some stuff. You'll find the pause method tab. I have a new course coming that I'm going to take women 5 weeks through the pause method once
Yay.
every other week. So it's going to be like 6 weeks. Sorry, my landscaper is now making noise out my window.
All good.
And yeah, and so just go to the website. You can follow me on Instagram. It's just my name as well, Karen Bartholomew. I don't post, but probably twice a week. Um, just because social media, it's just, I live my life
Yeah.
and I forget to post, right? So
I
it's like
love it.
trying to get better at that. But yeah, just like look me up and feel free to DM me. And yeah, we can just continue the conversation.
I love this. Okay, before we go, I always ask people a couple of the same questions.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about the life season that you are in. We were talking earlier about like, understanding your life season. What would you say, your what kind of life season you're in, and how does that change the way you do life?
So right now I'm in a season of really love, like just love
Mm.
of self, just love. I'm coming from a place of love right now, which is actually changing my lens of the world, even with my own family, like that, just loving that person, even if it's only for an hour, because that's the permission I gave myself to leave after an hour to really pour into that person and seeing the change. The other thing that I'm doing is this movement that I want to do with 1,000 women, right, across the United States to really bring this message. I'm very, very focused on that right now. Um, and, I'm really focused on my dating life. So that's the other
Love it.
thing is that, I've been single for like 26 years. I mean, I've dated, but like nothing like long term. And I think because I'm in a different space, right? I'm not like coming from all those spaces from before, that I've attracted a different person in my life, which is really, really exciting. And so we'll see where that goes.
It's like love, love, love. It's like
Love, love, love. Just love,
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 love.
love.
Yeah.
Love yourself, love the women, love
Yeah.
outside of you.
Just, yeah.
I love it.
Exactly. And my
I love
family is like doing amazing. All my kids are in a great space. So it gives me space to have a little home base here and just travel. And, if they can come with me, great. And if they're not able to, we're very connected. I'm very close with my kids. So, and my grandbabies. So,
Oh my gosh, so exciting.
yeah.
Okay, so besides the pause method, do you have any other regular practices that help you to live your best well-tended life?
Um, yeah, I'm just really in touch with what still triggers me. Um, and just taking some time, and it just goes back to the same thing though, to really like, kind of figure out what that is, right? Is it serving
Yeah.
me or is it not serving me? I think I'm just kind of in that space, and the feminine,
Mhm.
it just really tapping into my feminine side, because as a single mom for so many years, I was doing it all with no help. I was
Yeah.
the girl that never asked for help. I was
Yeah.
the girl that no one ever asked to date, because they're like, oh no, she'll reject us, or she's too strong of a woman, or she says, I know that masculine world very, very well. And
Mhm.
so I purposely give myself permission not to live there. Now, some things you have to do, obviously.
Mhm.
Um, However, I hire now to some of those things, so I don't have to pick those up. I allow my neighbor over
Yeah.
here to, like, my flagpole fell down like before the 4th of July weekend. And I literally asked him if he would come over. And typically I'm like, no, no, I can do it. I have a drill. And I'm like, no, no, no. Yes, please. Right. Um,
Yeah.
so even just something simple as that, it
Yeah.
reminds me like that I'm a woman and I don't
Mm.
need to do those things. Right. I mean, I know I can if I had to. Right.
I love that. I don't know that I really have thought much about masculine or feminine energy, and it's interesting. So I have two brothers also, and I wonder if, growing up with the boys, I've always said it was part of my superpower because I could run with the big boys,
Run with the
and
boys. Yeah.
yeah.
I got you.
But I have never really thought about. For me, that's one of the things I'm going to take away from this interview is thinking more about leaning more into my femininity. Um, uh, and interesting, very, very interesting. I love that. Okay, so then the last one actually comes out of my journal practice. I'm a journal girl too, so I love that you have a 30-day journal thing on your website. And in my journal, one of the steps is to reflect on the day before to spot the joy, goodness, and growth that was planted there. It's all based off a quote from The Secret Garden that said, Mary had not noticed it before, but she looked up and saw it. And so many of us are running so fast, we are not pausing, which is why this episode is so important. That we're not noticing that there's joy, goodness, and growth planted around us. So, tell me something that is bringing you joy these days.
I think it's really a phrase that I just tap into all the time, is like slowing down isn't falling behind. It's really catching up to who you are always meant to be.
Mm,
And, I literally spend more time out in nature. I take more walks with my dog. I think I'm
mhm,
just enjoying the beauty. I remember a time that I was in so much pain all the time that I drove across the San Mateo Bridge, which is out in San Francisco area, one day, and I wasn't in pain anymore, and the colors around me and the things I saw, not being in pain, was so vibrant. Or when I finally got the right contact lenses, and I'm like, oh, there's color in the world, right? So I think I just look for that every day now. I'm looking
Mm.
for the beauty and the joy in the little things I do, um, like every day.
Love it.
I'm looking for it, even if it's just
Yeah, yeah.
me coming in a dark room and turning the light on. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, there's the light,
Oh, yeah. There it is.
right? It's just the simplest things, but you string those simple things together, and it creates this beautiful, vibrant, just vivacious world that we live
A
in.
100%. 100%. Okay, second one is goodness, which is deeper than joy. It is more like something you would write in a gratitude journal. So, what bits of goodness are you feeling grateful for these days?
Oh, I'm just really grateful to be in the chapter that I'm in because, you know, I'm attracting love. I'm giving love. I'm attracting love. It's a new journey. Am I scared? Yes. But scared is good. It means I'm dipping into something that I'm like, so um, I love just spending time with my grandkids, um,
Mm,
allowing my children to see how I parented them and how much I loved them when they were small children, because that's the only time your kids get that, is when they get to see you with their kids. So
mm,
all my kids are gonna, one of them will eventually, but the other two are getting to see that, especially my son, because he had a son and he gets to see that. And so every once in a while I see him watching me and I'm like, I know what that is. Um, and I'm creating experiences now in the future with my family more. Like we're going to Nevada City for Christmas. I want to give them a Hallmark Christmas Day. Nevada City does that on Wednesdays and Sundays through the holiday season. I've never had roasted chestnuts. I'm going to have them, right? We're going to sled. We're going to I'm creating experiences because that's what lights me up.
yeah. Make a
That,
memory.
that's what lights me up.
I love it. Okay, the last one is growth, and growth is always the hardest thing to spot because it comes up in these tiny little shoots. But it's so important that we recognize and call out the little bits of growth in our life that we're seeing because then they start to add up, right? If we don't see them, we don't feel like we can go forward. So,
Yep.
what bits of growth are you seeing in your life these days?
I think the biggest growth I'm having is actually with my mom. Um, when I moved my mom out here, it was really difficult because she's getting older and I want to do things for her, but she likes to do everything herself. And so we would fight a lot. Not fight, but just, it was just tense. And, um, and now because I've changed, I always say that people can only love you based on what they know. And so I need love a different way, but I'm aware the more that I get to know her, the more I understand where she's coming from, and then I have no judgment
Mm,
or opinion on it. I can just love her for who she is in that moment. And so my growth is basically knowing that going out and doing things with her, I can give her the most love because we're not just sitting home. She's asking me to do something. I'm trying to do it. She's trying to take it from me. It's just, I'm like, what do you want me to help you or not? Right? We get this tense thing going on, right?
right.
And so I think that that's the biggest thing is because that's been my most struggle in the relationship is that, only child, you know, probably still has stuff from her childhood. I don't need to be aware of it, but just letting her
Hmm.
be who she is and knowing that she's
Yeah.
loving me the best way she knows how.
Yes. I was just talking to a friend the other day just about even just the difference in resources that we have today versus what they had available, right? Like she would not have had the opportunity to go away for 4 months and to redesign her life. That just wasn't an option. There wasn't, there's not there wasn't trauma therapy and all of these things that are available today. And having grace with that generation, and those who just even maybe even this generation that don't have access to that kind of stuff is like the best gift we can give them.
Yeah, and I would say, and that's so true because if you think about some of your people in your world, and you're like, well, you just go to this class.
Yeah,
They're not ready. They may never be ready. So just
yeah.
love them where they're at.
Love them where they are.
Just love them where they are. So, and that's my whole thing is just love people where they are. If you can like really understand a little bit of their history or
Mm.
ask the questions, hey, tell me about your family. Like tell me, like I when I interview people, this is funny things. When I interview people for a job with me, one of the first things I do is I ask them about their family because you can't ask specific things legally in an interview, but I can say, hey, tell me about your family. They tell me everything I need to know, right?
Right.
And then I actually have them go to an escape room with my team before we ever hire them because they think they're in and they drop, and then I get to see how the team reacts, with each other, right? They go to lunch with them, not me, and then they think they're in, and then the guard's down, and then they get to see a different side of that person, right? And then they get their interview with me. So like I've just learned like how can I love getting to know people who they really are, and I can see very quickly, you know, where they're coming from. If someone, doesn't have vitality, I know there's a lot of stress. It's probably because they don't feel they're good enough. There's just a lot going on in their world. If somebody doesn't have harmony, I can take it back to a different message. If somebody, doesn't have unity, it's because they don't think they belong. They're not part of something. And then, they compensate by isolating themselves, like, which just makes it worse, right? So when you get to know somebody, I can see where they're struggling the most. And I'm sure you can do this too in your practice. And so that's where I'm always interested in people. I don't need to be interesting.
Mm.
And listening is our greatest strength to really listen and be present with someone. Because
I
I've been
love
in
it.
enough rooms where people are talking to me, but they're worrying about the next guy in line or they're worrying about what the next, and I'm like, are you even listening? And I don't say this, but are you even hearing me? I
Yeah,
just cut it short because I know they're not present. So to be really present with who you're with, because you don't know when you're going to have another opportunity.
yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's huge. Oh my gosh, this has been so fun today. Thank you so much, Karen, for coming
You're so
on and
welcome.
sharing with us today. Tell people again how they can find you, follow you, hire you, all the things.
They can find me on Karen Bartholomew on Instagram and the same on Facebook. And they can go to my website at karenbartholomew.com. Everything is there from like my free sanctum community to like working with me to taking, the course isn't on there yet, but it's going to called The Power of the Pause. I'm also writing a book, so if you go to the back, you're going to see coming soon, right? And it shows you the cover page. So I'm going to put the pause method literally in a little pocket book where women can put in their purse or put somewhere so they can always like grab it, right, and refer to it.
Love it.
And I'll have some journal questions in there that you can journal with whatever device you want. I won't do a journal. Um, so anyway, I'm doing that. So yes, my website's the best place to go. And then
Awesome.
there's a retreat once a year. Last year, we just did it in June in Sonoma, California. This year, I think we're bringing it to North Carolina to Lake Norman. It's very small. It's only for 20 women. It's very private. It's a safe container where really it's for, any woman, but it's really about talking about the real shit we go through, and then unraveling that from a leadership standpoint of self or others, and then really like redesigning, what we want life to look like. And that is including women in corporate America that are not having a voice and hiding behind whatever they're
Mm.
hiding from. Because I really truly believe that women have a different piece in the world and they can make such a huge difference with their feminine side, right? Masculine has to be there as well in the corporate world, but if we bring that feminine piece that we're all scared to show forward, we can take care of people, we can nurture people, we're more connected with our team, or more connected with our employees. Just walking around asking your employees how they are.
Mhm.
Like the one thing I did with my employees, and I still do, is I take each one of them out once a month. That's their time to talk about whatever they want. And I got to tell you, they never talk about business. And that's how I get to know them. So when I walk in and someone's off after a team meeting, I'd say, hey, come on in my office for a minute. I'm like, I just noticed that what's happening? Like, is something going on? Like, why don't you take a couple hours off because we're all cross trained? Go take care of your family and then come back. Let me know how you're doing. We got you.
Hmm. One of my favorite new things to ask people is, how's your head and your heart?
Yeah.
Instead of how are you? Like, no, no, no. How's your head and your heart? Like, it's one step deeper and allows them to say the things that they just haven't been saying to anybody.
Right.
And I always love that. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
awesome. Thank you again so much. Don't worry, everybody. If you didn't write down all of her information, it'll be in the show notes, so you don't have to panic about any of that. Thank you to everyone who has been listening to the podcast today. I sincerely hope that this episode has reminded you that just like Dickon in the Secret Garden, when we finally pause long enough to stand still and wonder, that's when begin to see what's been growing all along. So I want to invite you today to take one small pause. To breathe, to notice, and to tend to what's waiting inside you in order to live out your best well tended life. So until next time, everyone, blessings and blooms. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome, dear.
All right, we're done.
All right.
Oh my goodness. So good. This was so great. I'm going to be like Googling feminine side today.
There you go. Go for it. Yeah.
So
It's
good.
good. It's good, good, good. All
Awesome.
right. So family's good. Your family's good. You're good.
Yeah, we're okay. I think we're still struggling to say the word good. We're
Okay.
3 months. So my mom and 9 others survived on the roof. My mom lost her home. So we have 9 people in my family with major trauma. Um, and 137 people died, all the things. So mom now lives with us, and we're we're 3 months out and unraveling, and putting her life back together, with losing the majority of her things,
Yeah.
she had. And so, but we're all doing the work. We are all, but it's a lot of grief. It's a lot of grief on top of grief on top of grief. And
Wow.
but
Well,
it's,
thankfully they have you,
yeah,
right?
yes, yes,
But I would ask, how are you taking care of yourself? This is a lot.
yes, it's
Because
a
when you
lot.
raised your hand, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, no, we're doing, yes, it is. Yeah, my dad died 2 years ago. 6 months later, my mom got breast cancer. 6 months later, we sold our business of 18 years. We owned a restaurant. And then, about 2 months after we sold the restaurant, and we took our last kid to college in there. And then 2 months after we sold our restaurant, the flood happened.
what?
And then we went from empty nester to having my mom live with us overnight. And once again, she's fabulous and all the things. And it is temporary. And we actually have a contract on the house right across the street from us. But I did what I typically do, and I'm continuing to learn to unravel this, which is, I when trauma hits or tragedy hits, I go into hyper responsibility.
Yeah, I get that.
And yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's a really sweet spot with God for the first bit, and then I start to take over and don't like let go of that mode. And so I'm learning to uh, remember that it's my response and His ability, and that it's not all on my shoulders, and that it's okay to pause, and breathe, and you know, I'm doing my own work.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're taking care of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this has been a pleasure. Definitely let's
You
keep in
know.
touch. I want
Yeah.
to, like, yeah, and let me know when it drops so I
Yes.
can throw it on my social media.
I
Um,
will. Sounds like you
yeah,
have you've got a course coming out in November.
I do. I think it's starting November 1st. My website designer is just now starting to put it together to put it on my webpage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to push it out on social media. And then if you send me, oh, I have your email. I can push it
Hmm.
out to you as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, so it'll take everyone right up to, I think, the week before Christmas,
Hmm.
possibly. I'm
Awesome.
trying to do every other week versus every week.
Yeah, so
Um,
it's interesting. I teach a 6 week class too, a master class.
yeah.
I call it Cultivate You, and I take them through my whole program as well. I do every week.
You do?
Um, I do. Uh, and then I skip 2 weeks between kind of the last session, and then I do a bonus like wrap up session at the end. Uh, I I think I worried that 2 weeks in between was
Too much?
that you would lose. Yeah, people go back to their regular lives, but when they know they got to just dive back in.
Yeah,
uh
I had a 6 week course called the Intentional Life course, and
mhm,
it was every week for 6 weeks. And then I
yes,
made it 10, then I did it for 10 weeks. So, and it worked. They always showed up. So I'm still putting together the actual dates. So we'll see.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not quite, yeah, done,
Anyways,
but we're getting
well,
there.
I'm excited for you.
My daughter just texted me and she says, looks like an alien. What is the due date? May 1st, April baby. And,
Nice. Is she gonna
and,
find out what it is?
and she's gonna, and I think she sent a video of the baby's heartbeat. I don't know what this is.
So she's brand new pregnant.
Yeah, she just found out. And I don't know what this very healthy 10 weeks and 4 to 5 days. 10 weeks. Oh, she got pictures.
Wow.
Oh, she got pictures. Oh, yay.
So crazy.
Yeah, so she's on her way home, so I need to give her a call. So
Yeah, go, go, go,
because
go.
she's an at risk. She only has half a uterus and yeah, and
What?
she's very at risk. So I'm waiting to
Wow.
hear how this is all going to plan out. So I don't
Oh,
know. We'll see.
wow.
Anyway, thank you, darling.
Thank you. Have a good
Okay.
day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.